Okay, so hello everyone. Hello there, and it's Saturday night, March 13th. Uh Happy to be going live, etc. Why am I wearing a face mask? Anyway, seriously, I take my face mask off. Yeah, seem to look okay. Enough to do that. Yeah. Well, I almost didn't go live tonight. Well, maybe look better with the face mask. No one's here, so let's take it off. I almost didn't go live. It's a little tired, but I'm not going to sleep after what I heard. I was watching Fox News, and I heard a couple of good segments. One of them was Jason Whitlock on Life, Liberty, and Levin, that show. The guy nailed a bunch of points like really well. It was fairly awesome sounding. Um, the guy talks really well, I think. He says like what I deep down want to say. I can't seem to like bring it to life or get it out of my mouth. And what he said was that like a lot of Americans take our freedoms for granted, and he was talking about like a lot of people are just fat and happy in that state of like contentment. They're subdued. I might, um, I hate to include myself in that. I'm not often. I don't think of myself that way, but whatever. Like, I couldn't agree more. Like, people take the freedoms of America for granted, freedom of speech, especially. They don't realize people have the right to communicate. So, um, I, I I think it's almost worse than what he was saying. It's that many have been brainwashed to think or believe that they don't have freedom of speech or the right to communicate at all, and that's really sad. So when we do, and that's rather odd, these rights were fought for various wars. The rights were fought for, like he said, during the civil rights movement. Um, it was just an outstanding talk, and it's available. The replay is available. It doesn't. They don't really show the whole thing on the replay. It only shows the first half. And on TV, it was a replay from March 6th or 7th last weekend. Um, some of the stuff that he said um, after the official replay ends, like when you hear it live on TV, it's fairly outstanding sounding. He was saying that the elite of society, the top upper crust, are manipulating things with racial divide in order to suppress others, and or actually he was saying it was in order to maintain their own power, either economically or whatever, which is really highly objectionable, obviously, and very strange. I've sensed this racial tension in various places in the city where I live, and I've been puzzled until not realize what people or what they're trying to do. It is coming from above, because in hiring practices they have to represent the color bar properly in their businesses, so they have to hire um, an array of people that represents all increments of the color bar racially. Um, it pits one group against the other, because now you have, for example, in some cases like minority employees oppressing whites who can't get a job because of these affirmative action type practices, who are coming into stores and stealing. And so, store employees, in my opinion, even tend to like profile people as being potential thieves if they're white, um, because they're getting sideswept in hiring practices, and people tend to lose hope. So obviously, I've seen thieves who are black too, but in the city where I've been residing, many store thieves that happen to be white people. And so when I think through this whole thing, the racial divide is being manipulated in that capacity level, and it distracts attention from who's really running things and what they're actually trying to do. So, so now Mr. Whitlock didn't quite explain it in that capacity level. Now, what does everyone think? Is that the fact of the matter? Is that what really goes on? What are the other ways that people are being brainwashed? Television, obviously, it's one of the ways. I don't frequently watch TV, so I don't really know per se um, all that goes on. But television and radio come to mind as a potential candidate for brainwashing people, definitely, in a way that the elite manipulate society. So, and personally, obviously, not to my advantage. That agenda is not really to my advantage at all because I love people across the racial. I love others across the racial boundary, and if there's people that I love that are not the same race as myself, so it makes me fairly upset and offended. Honestly, I wouldn't have probably slept well tonight unless I got in here and talked. So, um, the other thing I saw that deserves comment, I was watching Judge Janine Pirro on Fox News as well. I didn't like her segment as much. She was criticizing LA County's district attorney and LA County, other places that have started to change their practices in regards to criminal defendants. And I don't think she's saying it right because she has not properly divided the issue, criminal defendants versus convicts or those known to be guilty, because you're innocent until proven guilty as a defendant. So a judge like her should know better. Of course, these judges take a Masonic oath where they to begin with in the first place when they become a judge, and the whole thing tends to work so that they only go along official lines of business. Usually, they only have like an official line of business to go on. So judges tend to be biased towards prosecution and against defendants, not remembering one of the key components of the whole thing is that we're supposed to be innocent. You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Now consider what the evidential standard is for people getting arrested is probable cause. That's not a very high evidential standard, you see. But that's a very low evidential standard. The standard increases as you go through trial to a higher bar, to where at trial, the bar for conviction is supposed to be beyond a reasonable doubt. They used to say beyond a shadow of a doubt. So that's a higher evidential bar. So a person could be arrested under probable cause, a very low evidential bar, and now everything is biased against them the whole way through. The entire system is biased against them. They never almost get to hear that they're innocent until proven guilty. They're assumed guilty by everyone because they were arrested. The system is obviously biased against criminal defendants in the first place. Okay, if someone's highly enlightened enough to try to change the system from within, like what that guy is trying to do in LA, Gascon or whatever his name is, if they're keen enough to get that you can balance out the process to where everyone's not pooping on defendants, then that's a better way, I think. I don't know, if they're really catering to people that do crime in reality or not. I know she cites this one case where a lady's son was murdered and stuff, and then they gave the guy like parole. But that's lessening the punishment. They give the guy parole. He's under tight watch and stuff. He has worries. He has a bundle of worries. He's not going to get along well in society. He's still punishing you if you're on parole. Okay, so there's that. I could bitch this whole thing out for a long time. You're under parole. You're under tight supervision and stuff. He has like society's derision against him, for doing something that bad as well. So it's just being a little bit. Now, I obviously would feel awful over the whole thing. But I'm just saying, like, the system's biased in favor of prosecution to begin with. Anytime you do a legal matter, and then on top of that, besides what I already said, there are people that get convicted, or they get convicted of guilt at trial when they are actually innocent of the crime in reality, and the case gets overturned later. But in a lot of cases, obviously, it's too late to do anything. There are, of course, outstanding remedies. I'm not officially, like, I don't have a bar license as an attorney, so I'm not to be really considered as one. But I'm just saying, okay, I'm not really with her on it. It sounded really, really like wound up. I know she used to work. I think she used to work as a DA or used to work for a DA's office, so I can see why her biases are that way. But I don't think, you know, that tight of a crime standard should be the official Republican line or something. It's awfully uptight and really a severe like look at things. Anyone can be arrested. Probable cause is a low evidential standard. You could be arrested for like spitting. It's extremely upsetting. So jeez. Okay, so I'm gonna call it down around 10 minutes. I could probably keep going on and on tomorrow morning, possibly. Who knows? But yeah, the if people could find the Jason Whitlock segment online, if you just search Jason Whitlock Life, Liberty, and Levin, you can find the video. It sounded really good to me. But that's only part of it. So have a good night.